Hello students and welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is Harish Nagar and today's lecture I'm going to talk about the R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan was born in 1906 and he died in 2001. Now R.K. Narayan was born in Tamil Nadu and he is best remembered for creating a fictional village that is called Malgudi. So if you ever sat with your parents and ask them about the television show they used to watch when they were kids, I'm sure that they must have told about this particular serial that was very famous during their childhood days. That was Malgudi Days, and that particular serial Malgudi Days was based on R.K. Narayan's was Malgudi Days. Now coming on to the next important fact related to R.K. Narayan is that Malgudi is a village which is located in South India near the bank of the river Saryu, and Malgudi is also symbol of transactional India. That means it is a village where all the people are shedding the old traditions and they are accepting the modern Western culture. R.K. Narayan is the first person to receive the Academy Award. He was also received Padam Bhushan. We also find that he translated Mahabharata and Ramayana. So please remember, if in case they ask you that which of the Indian author has translated Mahabharata and Ramayana, it is R.K. Narayan and his mentor was Graham Greene. So Graham Greene was a mentor of R.K. Narayan, just like we had the Mulk Raj Anand was a friend of E.M. Foster. So remember, R.K. Narayan and Graham Greene are closely associated, just like Mulk Raj Anand and E.M. Foster are associated. Now let's look at the work of R.K. Narayan. Now in this particular lecture, I shall be talking about 14 works of R.K. Narayan. The first one is Swami and Friends. This was published in 1935. It is a part of trilogy of novels published by R.K. Narayan. The trilogy includes Swami and Friends, Bachelor of Arts and English Teacher. Now Graham Greene changed the title from Swami the Tate to Swami and Friends. So originally R.K. Narayan said that the title was the Swami the Tate, but later Graham Greene changed the title from Swami the Tate to Swami and Friends. Now as you can see from the title itself that the main protagonist is Swami, whose full name is Swaminathan. He is 12-year-old boy full of innocence, wonder and mischief. And what is important about this boy is that Swami is just like any other kid in India. He doesn't like to go in the school. He grows up in the village Malgudi and he is student of a British established Albert Mission School. So the name of Swami school is Albert Mission School. Now since it was established by British people, it gave importance to Christianity, English literature and value education. The story goes on when we find that his life dramatically changed when Swami meets Rajam. Now Rajam is a kid who is the symbol of colonial power. So he is just a symbol of colonial power and he joins the school and become close friend with Swami. Finally, we find that Rajam's father is transferred and he goes away. So Swami has to deal with the loss of friendship. In the entire story, guys, we find a lot of other characters also. I would like you to write down the name of the characters. We have Swami, who is the main protagonist. Then the other friend is Somu. So Swami's friend is Somu. Somu is a self-important monitor of the class. Then you have Mani. Now Mani is called as mighty good for nothing. Then we have Shankar. Shankar is the most brilliant boy in the class. Then we have Samuel. Samuel is also known as P, and Swami and Rajam. They are the most important people and their relationship is the most talked thing in this particular novel. So most of the boys tease Swami saying that he is the tail of Rajam. So Swami is teased by the boys by saying that he is the tail of Rajam. And there is a cricket club formed by Rajam which is known as MCC Malgudi Cricket Club. It is a cricket club formed by Rajam. Now guys, the next work of R.K. Narayan is Bachelor of Arts. This was published in 1937. The story revolves around a young man of 21 years old whose name is Chandran. Chandran falls in love with Malti who he cannot marry because of opposition from mother. So because his mother doesn't like Malti, he cannot marry Malti and he is very frustrated and he is depressed. So he embarks on a journey as a ascetic. Ascetic means a person who leaves everything and he wants to become a saint or a monk. So he embarked on a journey as ascetic. Later he has a spiritual transformation. He decided to return home Then he marries to Sushila and takes up a job as a newspaper correspondent, and later he became the chief agent of daily newspaper. The newspaper is called Daily Messenger. So Bachelor of Art revolves around Chandran and how he first loved Malti, but then he goes on a spiritual journey. After the transformation, he marries Shushila and takes up a job as a newspaper correspondent. The next work is Dark Room. This was published in the year 1938. The central character is Savitri, who is submissive housewife married to Ramani. Ramani is an employee in insurance company. Now, as all the Indian writers would depict, Savitri is a typical housewife, dominated and neglected by her husband. There is a dark room in the house where Savitri retires. Whenever her husband's harshness seems unbearable for her, and on her finding her husband is infatuated towards a working woman, she leaves the house and she leaves her husband and children, and at the end she returns back to her unrepented husband. So see the kind of story he has, presented before us. There is a housewife, she is upset with her husband, and every time she is upset, she goes to the dark room. There she cries and she tries to, release her pent up feelings. But then one day she finds that her husband is having an extramarital affair that she cannot bear. So she decided to leave her husband and her children. But then, as an Indian woman would do, she returned back to her husband after some time, and her husband is still unrepentant. He does not think he has done anything bad. Now guys, the next work is English Teacher, published in 1945. English Teacher deals with school and college life of India. The protagonist is Krishnan, and the novel tells the story of emotional maturation of Krishnan when his wife dies, and later he learns to communicate to her spirit. So we find that he is communicating to her wife's spirit, and there is this emotional, intellectual and spiritual journey that he embarks on. Now this particular thing, that is Krishnan is communicating with the spirit of his wife, is very similar to the Satyavan and Savitri myth. So Satyavan was the husband of Savitri, and when he dies, Savitri went to Yamraj in order to get back the life of Satyavan. Now the same thing is being used by R.K. Narayan in English Teacher, and R.K. Narayan has dedicated this work to his wife Rajam. After communicating to the spirit of his wife, he decided to devote himself as an English teacher in the children's school. So that is why the story is named as English Teacher, because he becomes so transformed after communicating with the spirit of his wife that he decided that he is going to devote the rest of his life to children's school. Now guys, the next work is Financial Expert, published in 1952, and it deals with the rise and fall of Maragya. Now Maragya earns his living by sitting in front of a bank and by helping villagers with their loans. So this man is sitting in front of a bank and he helps villagers to get loan. Then one day he is humiliated by the secretary of bank and he leaves his job, and he does not sit in front of bank anymore. He does a fast and then he worships goddess Lakshmi for 40 days. Because of this extreme religious ritual that he practices, he becomes extremely rich by printing and distributing a pornographic book by Dr. Paul. So Dr. Paul writes a pornographic book and he distributes this book and he prints this book. Now he is a journalist, correspondent and an author who makes money from a book about bad life, and the name of the book is Domestic Harmony. So he becomes rich after publishing this book. With this money, he embarked on a money lending career which flourishes beyond his expectation, and Maragya desire to lift himself from poverty to prosperity turned into a intensive passion and obsession for wealth. So he always wanted to be prosperous, he wanted to be rich. But then now his desire is not only just to get rich, but then it becomes an obsession for wealth. And in the end, he returns to his original position and realizes that the fundamental truth of life is that happiness lies in contentment and reunion of human relation. And happiness does not lie in holding a lot of money. It lies in contentment, being satisfied with what you have. So that was Financial Expert. We have done 5 works by R.K. Narayan till now. Now we move on to the 6th work, which is Waiting for Mahatma. As you can see from the title itself, it is going to talk about Mahatma Gandhi. This was published in the year 1955 and it is the only political novel written by R.K. Narayan. It also has a story of Shri Ram and a patriotic young girl named Bharti, the love story of Shri Ram and Bharti. It also talk about the effect of Gandhian movement, especially the Quiet Indian movement, and it ends with the assassination of Gandhi at Birla House. So Gandhi was assassinated, so it ends with that assassination. Apart from that, there is another character whose name is Jagdish, who is a photographer and a strong follower of Subhash Chandra Bose. Jagdish is also another important character in the work also. Now we come on to the most acclaimed work of R.K. Narayan, which is The Guide. The Guide was published in the year 1958. Now this work is really special to my heart because I find this work extremely wonderful. It talks about how a man transforms and become a Mahatma. So it is a very common man's journey. A man who is full of evil and vices, and then he fakes being a saint, but while he is faking that he is a saint, he gradually realizes the virtues of a saint and he imbibed all those virtues in his personality and he actually became a saint towards the end of his life, and this transformation is extremely beautiful. There is also a movie made by Devanand, so I would really prefer if you can go and watch that movie Guide. It is a very beautiful movie and I think that the movie has done complete justice with the book as well. So let's look at the story of The Guide. Now this book has been awarded Sahitya Academy Award and it is a story of Railway Raju, and he is a tourist guide. Now while he is taking Marco and his beautiful wife Rosie across the town, he needs them and Marco and Rosie hire him as a guide. Now Marco is busy with his archaeological studies. Archaeological study means when you try to look at the monuments and try to see the history behind those structures. So Marco is a man who is very busy with the archaeological studies, and when he is busy with that, Raju gets to spend more time with Rosie and they become close friends. When Marco comes to know that Rosie is having an affair with Raju, he goes away to Madras. Now Raju has no other option but to take Rosie to his one-room house where he and his mother lives. So Raju lives with his mother, and when Marco abandons Rosie and goes Madras, we find that Rosie started to live with Raju. Now his mother is unhappy with the way things that have turned out for Raju. So his mother says that, see, I am going to live with her brother. So Raju's mother goes to live with her brother, but her brother and Raju is now going to look after Rosie and the house. Now while this love story is blooming, we find out that Rosie is very talented dancer and dancing is a passion. But the problem is that Marco was such a cruel husband that Rosie was never able to nurture her talent. Raju finds that this is a great opportunity because now when Rosie is living with Raju, Raju tells Rosie that why don't you perform on stage because it will give you immense pleasure. And Raju is very good man by heart because he asked Rosie to do whatever Rosie wanted to do. So Rosie gives her first performance on stage and it is a grand success. She soon become a popular dancer and their earning also increasing enormously. Raju adopts a lavish lifestyle and entertains a number of friends with whom he drinks and he gambles. So you can see how getting money can lead you to vices. He then makes some mistake for which he had to pay deeply. What is that mistake? He forges Rosie's signature. So actually he copied the Rosie's signature. He tried to get her husband's possession. So we know Marco was having all the jewelry of Rosie. So Raju forges Rosie's signature to claim the valuable jewelry which was there in her husband's possession. But Marco gets to know that this forged signature, and for this he tells that Raju must be put in the jail. Now Rosie had to leave Malgudi after Raju is put in the jail, and Rosie goes to live in Madras. That is her hometown. She pursues her dancing career and does very well, though Raju is not helping around to help her because Raju is in jail. Finally, after a few years, Raju is released from jail. He goes to a deserted temple on the bank of river Saryu, which is a mile away from Malgudi. So remember this thing, guys. Still, Malgudi is important in the work, even though Malgudi में कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है, but फिर भी Malgudi का reference है यहाँ पर, and he starts to live there in the deserted temple, which is very close to village called Mangal. Now the simple villagers of Mangal, they take him to be a Mahatma. They think that this man Raju is a Mahatma, because the problem is that when Raju came from the jail, he never had those beard or those long haircut. So his appearance looked like a Mahatma. So all these villagers mistook him for a Mahatma, and they began to worship him and bring him a lot of eatables as present. Now Raju is a very happy because still he has got that attention, and he's getting all what he wants, and he has to do nothing but to just fake that yes, he is a Mahatma and he has to give some summons about things. So Raju assumes role of a saint to perfection, like he has used this role to such a perfection that nobody has to know that he is actually not a saint at all. Then the story progresses and we find that there is a serious drought in the village, and the villagers expect that Raju as a saint should perform a miracle and should bring them rain. Now he compiles by the demand and tells that I am going to undertake a fast. Now this news of fasting spreads and people come to have darshan of this Mahatma, because all the people think that he is doing fasting, so it will definitely rain. On the 12th day of the fast, we find that Raju is exhausted. Earlier, Raju thought that when he was fasting that I wouldn't fast, I will go inside the temple and I will eat and I will pretend as if I am not eating. But then suddenly he realizes that people are showing so much faith, so let me not eat. And on the 12th day of the fast, we find Raju is exhausted and he drops to the floor. Just when he drops to the floor, we have a sign of rain on distant horizon. So people could see that now the clouds are coming in, rain is about to take place. So the novel ends on a note of ambiguity, not revealing whether Raju survived or not. We don't know whether he died or he did not, and we don't know whether it rained or it didn't, but we just know that there was a sign of rain on the sky, and the ending of the novel leaves it to the reader to guess whether Raju died and whether it rained. R.K. Narayan doesn't make it clear. Nevertheless, the novel attempts to portray something larger and more affecting than the working out of individual destiny. So we can see that he is trying to play on a very large platform or a very large canvas, and it is a very beautiful story talking about how a selfish man trapped in a world of illusion and achieved the path of a self-realization. In the end, when he turns into a selfless guru or a spiritual guide doing his dharma or moral duty. So I am telling you that if you actually watch the movie Guide, it will lead you to think about your own life, to think about how a person can become a man from Mahatma. So a person's journey from a man to a Mahatma is what Guide is all about. So I can go on talking about Guide for a long period of time because it is a novel which is very, very close to my heart, but then we have to move forward. The other work of R.K. Narayan. So that leads me to the autobiography of R.K. Narayan, which is My Dateless Diary. This was published in 1968. It is the autobiography of R.K. Narayan. Now guys, the next work is Man Eater of Malgudi. This was published in 1961. This is a beautiful work. I am sure that you must have heard of the Bhasmasur myth. Now guys, what is Bhasmasur myth? If you don't know, I will tell you. Basically, there was a Rakshas whose name was Bhasmasur, and he was given a boon that he can turn anyone into ashes by touching him. Like he was extremely powerful demon, and the gods said that if you touch anybody by the touch of your hand, that person will turn into ashes. Now what happened was that this Bhasmasur, he got very happy because he could go about and anybody would not do what he wants. He would touch him and he will burn into ashes. Now gods got really upset about this fact, and everybody came to God Vishnu and goddess Lakshmi and told that please do something for this Bhasmasur because he is going to kill everybody on the earth. So Lord Vishnu, he goes to this demon Bhasmasur and he disguises himself. That means Lord Vishnu disguises himself as a common man and he tricks Bhasmasur to touch himself. So Bhasmasur touches himself rather than touching anybody else. God Vishnu tells that why don't you touch yourself? You are such a beautiful fellow. It wouldn't be great if you perform this dance move, and that dance move, what the person needs to do, he needs to touch himself. So God Vishnu does the same thing. So Bhasmasur also copied God Vishnu and he touches himself, and that is the moment he dies. So that was the myth of Bhasmasur. Now in this particular work, Man-Eater of Malgudi, R.K. Narayan has used the same myth. So what he do is that he has talked about a demon-like figure whose name is Vasu. Vasu is extremely strong person and he comes to live in Malgudi, and he is living in the same apartment where Nataraj is living. Nataraj is the protagonist of the novel. So he is living in an apartment in Malgudi and he is a painter, and Vasu started living in a rented room of Nataraj. But when Nataraj looks at the life of Vasu, what kind of life Vasu is leading, Vasu is a very selfish man and he is bringing so many women in his house and doing all kind of bad things like drinking alcohol and tobacco eating and all that stuff. So Nataraj asks Vasu that he should leave the house. But Vasu refuses, and Vasu is so strong that he is he's built in such a manner 6 feet tall and such strong body that Nataraj says that I will not be able to deal with this man, because if I say anything and if he get hurt, he is going to kill me. So now Nataraj is worried that what is Vasu is going to do in his house. So because of Vasu, the entire peace of the village Malgudi is disturbed, and that is why it is called Man-Eater of Malgudi. Vasu is referred to as Man-Eater of Malgudi. Now Vasu's philosophy is that I challenge any man to contradict me. He says that I am so strong and I am so powerful that I challenge that anybody can come and he can tell me anything. He can contradict my views. Nobody can bear contradict my views because I am so strong that I kill that person that very moment. So what happens next is that he decided that he wanted to kill a temple elephant, and Nataraj is very much worried because he doesn't want that elephant to get killed. So he goes to the police and he says that Vasu has told me that he is going to kill the temple elephant. So please do something to safeguard that elephant. And the police says that unless and until he doesn't commit a crime, how can we do anything for the elephant? We cannot charge Vasu because Vasu has not done anything illegal. Police says that let him do something, let him murder somebody, only then I can help you. So this happens. Now what happened next is that Nataraj is extremely upset and he is worried that Vasu is going to kill the temple elephant. But there was a Bhasmasur myth take place, and we find that one day when he goes to Vasu's flat, he find that Vasu is dead. And how did Vasu die? Vasu died because he was slapping a mosquito that was buzzing near his forehead. And while he was slapping the mosquito, he slapped on his own face, and because his hands were so powerful, he died that very moment. So that was Man-Eater of Malgudi talking about Bhasmasur myth. Now guys, we move on to the next work of R.K. Narayan, which is The Vendor of Sweets. This was published in 1967. Now this story talk about Jagan, who is the sweet vendor, and he is very conservative and he is unable to accept the progressive ideas of his son Mali. So the story revolves around the clash of generation, because on the one hand we have Jagan, who is very conservative, very traditional in his approach, and on the other hand we have Mali, who is Jagan's son, who had just returned from USA with a half American and a half Korean girl. So the clash of values between the two generations, or you could say that the generation gap, is the main theme of Vendor of Sweets. Now guys, the next work is A Horse and the Goats. This was published in 1970. Now the story is not important, only the location is important, because unlike the other works of R.K. Narayan, this story is not set in the village Malgudi. It is actually set in the tiny village of Kritam. Then we have the next work of R.K. Narayan, which is again a autobiography, just like my dateless diary. The work is My Days, published in the year 1974. The second last work is Tiger for Malgudi. This is published in 1983, and there is a tiger who is the main narrator of the story. The name of the tiger is Raja, and he is the narrator of the story, and the story revolves around this tiger and his interaction with other people. It uses the myth of Buddha's enlightenment. So just like Man-Eater of Malgudi uses the myth of Bhasmasur, similarly Tiger for Malgudi uses the myth of Buddha's enlightenment. And finally we move on to the last work of R.K. Narayan, which is Talkative Man. Talkative Man was published in 1986, and this particular story is this problem of a man who wants to become a journalist in Malgudi, and it is narrated by the man who is actually known as the Talkative Man of Kabir Street. So what happened next is that just like we had Vasu in Man-Eater of Malgudi, in this particular novel we have Dr. Ran. He comes from an unknown land called Timbuktu, He arrives in Malgudi and he starts living in the house of Talkative Man. And later it is revealed that Dr. Ran is a wicked womanizer. So the story revolves around how Talkative Man deals with Dr. Ran and how he struggles to become a journalist in Malgudi. So that was Talkative Man by R.K. Narayan, and let us have a look at all the works we have discussed so far. First is Swami and Friends, published 1935, Bachelor of Arts, published 1937, Dark Room, published 1938, English Teacher, published 1945, Financial Expert, published 1952, Waiting for Mahatma, published 1955, The Guide, published 1958, My Dateless Diary, published in 1960, Man Eater of Malgudi, published 1961, Vendor of Sweets, published 1967, Horse and Two Goats, published 1970, My Days, published 1974, Tiger for Malgudi, published 1983, and Talkative Man, published in 1986. So that's it for this video lecture. Thank you very much.